Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose. And right now, I'd say one of Xbox's most surprising games that's currently in development might actually be one of the most experimental and one of the most unique, not just for Xbox, but from the sounds of it, really across the entire game industry. Now, personally, this is something that I can really get behind. This is definitely something that gets me excited because I like when we get games that are just a little bit different. In today's world where we get so many sequels, remakes, remasters, or whatever, I like seeing things take a chance because it could potentially surprise us in unexpected ways. And this game is definitely shaping up to be quite a surprise, if anything else. So we're going to get into all that today. And then also PlayStation, they seemingly leaked a huge 2024 game a little bit early. So yeah, if anything, after today's news, 2024 just got a whole lot more exciting, and I'll be here with you all every step of the way. Let's just go and get right into things, though, starting off with an interesting new handheld. We actually talked about this a few months back as it leaked a little bit early, but it is now official. The Ayaneo Flip KB and, more interestingly, the Flip DS are now a reality. Ayaneo, hopefully I'm actually pronouncing that correctly this time, but they announced this as an Indiegogo project that'll go live later this month. You'll then be able to pre-order whichever device tickles your fancy, and yeah, I would say the DS Flip, that's the one that's catching so much attention online. It is the very first ever dual screen Windows handheld to hit the market, so this is actually a pretty exciting project, especially if you like the Nintendo DS or the 3DS. This could potentially be the perfect way to emulate their massive and may I add, a good library of games, and maybe even make them look and feel better with a better overall screen. The top screen on the DS Flip will be a 7-inch 1080p IPS display that can run up to 120 frames per second, and then the bottom screen will be a multifunctional 3.5-inch touchscreen. Now, as for comparison's sake here, the original 3DS had a 3.5-inch screen on top and a 3.02-inch bottom screen. So the Flip DS is quite a bit bigger. It's probably not going to be quite as portable, but with those screens, I mean, this could polish up a lot of those games. Now, we still don't know the price, however. Hopefully, it'll come in at an affordable price, but definitely do keep your eyes peeled if you're interested in either one of these devices. Okay, so check this out. We also got an update for CyberPunk Phantom Liberty and all of the success it's had already. CD Projekt Red just announced that it's already sold 5 million copies worldwide since it first released back in September. And I just find this to be such a fascinating story because the history of what happened with this game. When Cyberpunk 2077 first launched, it was absolutely ridiculed for all of the bugs and issues that it had. I mean, it was actually so bad that PlayStation was forced to take it off of their digital storefront because so many people were calling in asking for a refund. So to see them come back from that situation, and now for it to be praised as not only one of the best open world games available, but also to have this success with its expansion, I just think that that is such an incredible turnaround, and it really speaks to the studio. I'm sure they heard a lot of nasty things online, and that could have possibly broke them, but instead, they put their heads down and they worked hard to deliver the vision that they originally intended. Now, it might have taken a while, but hopefully this will be a lesson learned, and they can kind of take that to their next big game, which I'm actually even more excited about. The Witcher 4 is in development, and yeah, I cannot wait to see that game. Now, let's go talk about Xbox, though, as there's actually a few different things happening here. The first of which I think kind of feeds into the speculation that Xbox might be holding their own showcase very soon. Maybe even as early as this month, because, of course, last year they had that Xbox Developer Direct in January, and they had a lot of success with that event. That's where they both announced and dropped Hi-Fi Rush, one of the best games for the entire year. So there's been a lot of rumors that they'll once again repeat that, and there's actually a few notable things happening right now that's kind of further feeding into that speculation. One is that Double Fine seems to be teasing some kind of an announcement for 2024. So this started with them first saying, it's the new year, I've been in meetings, I got a shot, I'm drinking tons of water, and Double Fine is making games. There's cool things in store that we'll share when we're ready. Between that and plans for our 25th anniversary shenanigans, there's tons of fun on the way. So this already sparked a lot of discussion online, but to make things even more interesting, Xbox, they chimed in by simply responding with the eyeball emoji. So at the bare minimum, it does seem like that they're teasing some kind of 2024 announcement. Now, that could maybe be later in the year. We can't rule that out, but at the same time, it could also be a lot sooner. This ultimately could actually be a reveal at the unannounced Xbox Developer Direct if they are indeed holding one. In fact, Tim Dog, if you believe him, he said he had heard that Double Fine was going to show a game at Xbox's presentation last year in June, but it could have been cut for a later announcement, possibly at the upcoming Developer Direct. So, I'd still temper my expectations, but it is something to maybe keep in mind. We very well could hear about their game quite soon, and Double Fine, yeah, they're always very interesting to pay attention to. They're really such a unique studio, and who knows what they have cooking up. Now, there's another game here, though, that a lot of people are now looking at because a very interesting discovery was found today, and that's for Stalker 2. This is a game that's closely tied to the Xbox brand because of its Game Pass deal and its timed exclusivity, and suddenly, just kind of out of nowhere, an unannounced pre-order bonus appeared as a part of its pre-download on Xbox. So this is a rather interesting development that seemingly just kind of came out of nowhere. So could this maybe possibly indicate some kind of incoming announcement? Now, we do know that they have plans to release this game in 2024, and if Xbox really does, in fact, have a showcase, even though this isn't necessarily a first-party game per se, it is, however, a highly anticipated Xbox exclusive that they might want to show there, especially, considering all the trouble that the studio has faced over the last few years. So if they are indeed preparing for some kind of incoming announcement, yeah, I wouldn't rule it out of being a potential reveal at their showcase. Either which way, though, it definitely seems like something is brewing in the background over at Xbox. Of course, I'll let you all know as soon as we get an official announcement, but, the next month or so could be quite exciting for you Xbox fans. Actually, speaking of Xbox, though, we do have one other thing to talk about for them, though, because Hideo Kojima had some very interesting things to say about his upcoming Xbox game, OD. Now, there's still a lot of things unknown about this game. What we currently know is that it's some kind of horror game that takes advantage of cloud-based technology, and that he's utilizing several famous actors. But beyond that, there's a lot of mystique to OD. Even in its first trailer, it was quite bizarre, and it left a lot of questions. But the thing is that people don't necessarily seem all that surprised. Really the most surprising thing about this game right now is that it's an Xbox published game. That was a little unexpected, but the game itself is very Kojima-like. He is viewed as a visionary that tries new and unique things, and that's actually something that he elaborated on today. In a Twitter post, he said, "It seems I've been acknowledged by creating games that go against the current of the times, such as hide-and-seek games where you sneak into a building without being detected by the enemy, or delivery games where you enjoy moving around in an open world. For me, the most experimental game was defeating vampires outside your house using actual sunlight around you. It was met with fierce opposition from the staff and even within the company. In that sense, OD is just as different." Now, the game he's referring to is Boktai. It's an old Game Boy Advance series that used a solar sensor that was actually on the cart itself to kill the vampires in the game. That is an incredibly unique feature that you won't see elsewhere. And from what he's saying, OD is just as unique. It's just as experimental. And to me, I think that that's exciting to hear. Coming from somebody who's played countless games since the 90s, I like when we see new and surprising ideas. And that's what I want from Kojima. I want him to tap into that creative, bizarre side of his. That's one of the reasons that his games hit home with so many people, because they are different. They're not trying to be like everything else in the market. Now, they do have some inspirations, but they also have certain unique elements that he brings to his game specifically. If you look at PT as an example, which I think is actually very important to the discussion of OD, if you look at that game and some of the things that he was trying to do, it was doing something different and people loved it. People still talk about that demo as if it's one of the greatest horror experiences in all of gaming, and that was just a small snippet of what he had planned for the final game. Who knows what all he had planned for the final game, but it could have maybe been something special. And the reason that I bring that game up is because it does seem like he might be resurrecting some of those ideas that he had for that game for OD. It is the same genre, and even more so, Hideo Kojima himself has left several Easter eggs to PT in the first trailer reveal. I mean, he even came out into the Game Awards stage using the PT door, if that wasn't an indication enough. So yeah, I think that if you enjoyed the PT demo, OD at the very least is worth paying attention to, but I think the one thing that we should expect by this point is really the unexpected. Either way, though, kudos to Xbox for giving Kojima this platform to really just let loose on whatever this game may possibly be. Speaking of Kojima, though, we might as well go and talk about the franchise that he really made a name for himself with, being Metal Gear Solid. Of course, Konami, they have a lot going on with the Metal Gear franchise right now. That's great for us fans. They just released the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 collection a few months back. And according to PlayStation, apparently, Metal Gear Solid Delta is planned for 2024. Now, that is a little bit of a surprise because Konami has yet to make an official announcement themselves. So this might be a little bit of an awkward announcement, but what's happening here is that the official PlayStation YouTube channel posted a 2024 hype video that showcased various games that's set to release this year. In fact, the description of the video itself clearly states, discover some of the best upcoming games for PlayStation 5 that you can look forward to playing in the year ahead. Now, most of the games that they highlighted in this video wasn't overly surprising. That list includes Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of the Ronin, Foam Stars, Helldivers 2, etc., etc. But interestingly enough, they did confirm games like Silent Hill 2 is planned for 2024. I think that was expected, but it's nice to have a confirmation. And then also Metal Gear Solid Delta made an appearance as well. Now, we can kind of debate on whether or not that this was some kind of error on their part. Konami has still yet to announce anything themselves, but Sony still has this video up as of this recording. They've also yet to debunk this news, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, they might have let this slip a little bit early. This could actually be official. So Metal Gear Solid Delta could actually release this year, which honestly kind of surprises me. When they first announced this game, I really wasn't expecting it to be out for at least a couple years, but according to this trailer, we might not have to wait all that long after all. Of course, it will also be available on PC and Xbox as well, so do keep that in mind. This is a completely multi-platform game, but I will say this. I thought PlayStation did a really good job on this trailer. I know there's been some questions regarding their first-party lineup this year, but even still, they do have a lot of interesting games planned for 2024, and honestly, my most anticipated game right now is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I cannot wait to play that game. But either way, kudos to Sony for putting together a good hype trailer. Anyways, though, that's it for this video. I mean, Metal Gear Solid could be coming soon. That's pretty cool. And plus, for you Xbox fans out there, it does sound like you have some rather exciting stuff to look forward to. Let me know what you all think about that in the comments below. But until next time, peace out.